Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another edition of the Sports Report Podcast. Josie has some breaking news she wants to bring in. Josie, take it away.
I mean, it's not – if you're a sports fan and you're watching Monday Night Football, it's no surprise. Damar Hamlin was carted off the field after receiving – or ambulanced off the field after receiving CPR and AED on the field, which means he stopped breathing and his heart stopped at one point.
Game officially has been suspended.
They suspended the game temporarily, and as of about 5 minutes ago, they suspended it for the evening. We have very little news on Damar at this point. We know he was taken to UC, which is luckily, thank God, like 5 minutes from the stadium, if that. It's the only level 1 trauma center in the area. As I said, Damar stopped breathing. His heart stopped. The updates that we have been able to gather so far before we came on air was that he's been intubated and he's in critical condition at UC. His family was in the stands. His mom is with him. I am not a religious person, but I am going to say my thoughts and prayers and go out to Damar, his family, and the Bills players, the Bengals players. Like, I have been a football fan for as long as I can remember, and my dad is where I got that from, who's been a fan a lot longer than me. And I can say I have never, ever seen anything like this. I've never seen a game suspended mid-game. I've never seen it then ended mid-game.
He's a
He's
baby.
He's 24 He's 24 years old. He was only in his second season. He just starting in week 3. We all know that football is a rough sport. Like, we talk about it every week about head injuries and things that happen, but you never expect to see someone almost die on a football field.
There's a violent collision each and every play.
Well, and the thing, Will, did you see it, Will?
I did not see it.
Okay, so the thing
Collision
that
wasn't as bad. Yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, like it. To me personally, that was just like a basic everyday hit.
It wasn't, and it was him. It was also him leading the hit. He was the hitter. He wasn't the hittee.
Right.
He was the hitter. It looked like your typical hit. He landed on the dude's chest. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. He stood up from what, and I am just speculating. I have no medical training. I am just speculating, but from what I saw, it looked more like he had a stroke or he had a seizure. Erica said, and I saw it too after he started seizing. I don't think it was whatever happened was related to football in itself. I think the young man had a medical emergency that could have happened while he was standing on the sideline.
I mean, Josie? He was probably laying on the ground, maybe 45 seconds, a minute. And I mean, literally, you could just see like the arms just start like doing, and it was just like, dude, he's seizing. Then you looked at his legs and and it's just like, he's seizing. Like, he is 100% just laying there seizing.
What happened?
Wait, Dan, you didn't see it? You didn't hear? Damar Hamlin, 24 years old, Bill's safety had to have CPR and defibrillated on field. On field. He hit a guy. The hit wasn't anything crazy. He got up. He stood up for 3 seconds and then collapsed. They just postponed the game indefinitely.
Wow.
First time in NFL history.
Did you say Jordan Poyer?
No, DeMar
Okay.
Hamlin.
Okay. Wow.
Second year.
You guys
just starting in Game 3. 24
So the
years old.
NFL has released a statement on the game.
What's it saying?
Tonight's Buffalo Bills Cincinnati Bengals game has been postponed after Buffalo Bills DeMar Hamlin collapsed. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced Hamlin received immediate medical attention on the field by team and independent medical staff and local paramedics. He was then transported to a local hospital where he is in critical condition. Our thoughts are with DeMar and the Buffalo Bills. We will provide more information as it becomes available. The NFL has been in constant communication with the NFL Players Association, which is in agreement with postponing the game.
I hate to be that guy, but he's gonna die. If they're talking about it like that, like that's not good.
Okay, but here's the thing also too, Danny, you got to take into consideration. He received this hit at 8:55, and they didn't get him off the field and in the ambulance, unfortunately, because he did become unstable. But they weren't able to get him off that field until 9:25, and it took them 9 minutes to start getting his heart to go again. That's not a good sign at all, and it's really unfortunate.
No, yeah, like at this point, you almost don't. I mean, you don't want him to live through that. That's really weird to say, but like, I don't know if I want him to live through that. No, for sure. At this point, because he's not going to be okay.
The thing I keep hearing and
brain damage for the rest of his life. I mean, that's really possible.
9 minutes.
The thing I keep hearing, and I don't know. I was watching it. Booger. I don't like Booger McFarland. I think he's the Charles Barkley of the NFL. But he was upset that it was taking the NFL so long to call the game.
I mean, I'm upset. That should not have taken so long. I mean, come on.
I think what they were hoping. You gotta play devil's advocate here for a second. We're journalists. We gotta see both sides. I think they were hoping they could get some good news, and then the players would want to retake the field, but that didn't happen.
I just think
but why would you after you possibly just watched your teammate get killed on the field?
The first thing you check to make sure is that the player is still breathing and has a strong pulse. Second thing, if the player is not breathing, doesn't have a strong pulse, you call the cart. You call the cart, get the player off the field. If the player hasn't improved, then you go to the hospital.
They couldn't move. They couldn't move him. That's why the ambulance came on the field and not a cart. They couldn't move him.
Couldn't move him? What are you talking about?
He
started.
He was seizing. They're not going to move someone that's seizing like that because of it. Could if it's a neck injury, they don't know. They have to get him boarded. They have to get him in.
And if you also move somebody while they're in the process of a seizure, you can actually cause way more damage.
That's true
to the person that is having that seizure by moving them. That's why they tell you if someone does have a seizure, you have to hold them as still as possible around you, because the more frequent motion and movement they have can potentially cause that human being more damage.
This situation is different. In
30 minutes.
This situation, well, it only took him 30 minutes because he stopped breathing and his heart stopped. They had to get him stable. At one point, they had him up and were getting him into the ambulance and had to sit him back down because his heart stopped and he stopped breathing, and they had to perform CPR and AFib him.
I guess there's not anything they could have done. I guess there's not anything they could have done like at a hospital that they couldn't have done on the field. Honestly, like to get him back to breathing. I mean,
at that point, it's just getting him stable enough to transport.
Right.
Facebook user, hit up top. We want to see who you are.
So I hate to
tell us your name.
Take it this way, but we have to talk about the piece of human garbage that is Skip Bayless. He already posted this.
There's sometimes there's more important things than the game.
I understand. I know exactly what you're gonna say, Dan. He's not wrong. This is a big game.
No,
but at that
I'm not gonna say that.
Oh, like.
Well, oh my gosh, you're gonna actually have some empathy for once, Sam.
Like I say, guys, sometimes there's things more important than the game. You can always play this game Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever.
Clearly.
But the player is the most important thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Also, Skip at the end there is actually, I think he's trying to like say the same thing. Bring that back up. He says now it seems
say
so
there at the end, but it's
irrelevant.
It just it's not.
No. All it is, Josie, is a way to salvage yourself. That's what that is.
That's what it is.
It's like here. Let me be an asshole, but then a
shit post the whole way, and let me drop this at the end that gives me a little bit of sympathy.
But I'm not that comment. You see that I was trying to sound like. I mean, that's
y'all see that comment right there. That second comment.
I can't honestly read that, even with
it
these.
Says,
what a disgusting thing to say.
Yeah,
and that's my thing, Dan. Is like I agree. Like it seemed like a shit post, and then the dots is like where his brain said, "Oh wait, I better save this a little bit," and put which is suddenly seems irrelevant. And
right,
I'm gonna be the first person to say this, and I know I'm gonna get some heat for it, but I don't give a damn. Skip, it's time for you to go, bro. It's time.
And this is not necessarily what the subject needs to turn into, but I will say if there is anything that might lose that man his show, that comment might do it.
I mean, at the first you were wrong and way off base with Shannon Sharp, and now you do this over a player who's fighting for his life.
It's going to put him in a really negative light in less than a month.
I'm gonna say this too. I'm gonna get even more hate. I don't give a damn. Skip Bayless, man, you are a terrible person. You're trash. You need to go. This is bigger than the NFL. This is bigger than us on this panel. This is a man's life at stake, and you can't respect that. You trash, bro. You trash.
The real problem with Skip is that he doesn't understand that. He actually thinks that he's like on some kind of weird pedestal, whereas him covering a football game is like actually more important than somebody's life on the football field.
That's a shame.
It's like
that man got to be in his 60s or 70s, and he don't see.
But Dan, it's like y'all say on After Dark Thursdays, 10 p.m. Eastern. Skip Bayless is a lizard person, so he has no human empathy.
Yes, he's just doing it for the fame and the money, so he can fund his embryos that he keeps in his, secret lair inside of his house, and
so he can clone himself after he dies.
So it says
he's gonna end up doing the tongue whip on live TV, and we're gonna catch it.
So he can clone himself after he dies. He thinks the world can't survive without a Skip Bayless. Come on,
he has surrogates. It just
here's his timeline of the events. He was injured at 8:54. He was carted, given CPR at. Oh, they pulled it off.
Not yet. Not showing you yet.
Back to DeMar. Like this is. My dad looked it up, and yes, we've all. There's been injuries in football. Players don't walk again. My dad found that there has actually been a guy who died on field.
Yep.
There was a guy who died at a high school here in Falls City in the 70s.
My man Ando, what's up?
And then everybody knows about.
though.
Everybody knows about. Man, my dad just said the name, and now I can't think of it. But the guy who got hit blindside, and the reason that the blindside tackle became a thing is because to protect that QB when he can't see that player coming at him.
Well, not Taylor Lawrence or something like
Chuck
that.
Hughes.
Chuck Hughes. Thank you, Dan. I was trying to think of the scene from The Blind Side because they talk about it in the beginning. All I could hear.
I'm like Michael Orr.
I could hear Sandra Bullock's head in my voice in my head, and I'm like, "Who's the player?"
And don't forget, and shout out to Derek Stingley Jr. Don't forget him.
Is he the guy who made the hit or
paraplegic?
Something?
Oh yeah, Derek Stingley is took a hit that became became a paraplegic. That was back in the 70s as well.
Oh, Derek Stingley Senior.
Senior, not junior.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say. Yeah, I was like, how did I miss both of these things? I'm not very informed.
And then LT breaking Theismann's leg. I mean, again, we all know that football is a tough sport. It's probably one of the more physical, popular sports, other than like combat sports. But like, we talk about head injuries on this show almost once a week, but to see something like this, to see a player fall, and we still don't know that if it was caused by football. I'm still looking at this like he had a medical emergency.
That's what it seems like. It was just triggered by some kind of trauma.
It may not even been triggered by that, Dan. It could have happened if he hadn't been in that play. He could have been standing on the sidelines and it happened.
So firsthand, like this is what I see from the NFL a lot. Like I played college football. Okay, there are way more injuries in college football and bad ones, like breaking legs in half and sideways and stuff, because those guys aren't all going the same speed. Have you ever noticed that? Like there's like when the guys in the NFL are all going the same speed and they're all really, really fast, it actually makes the game safer. Not head injury wise, because obviously you're going to get that because of the longevity. They play for longer than college players do. But like actual like bad injuries, like knees cranking to the side and stuff, you don't see that as much in the NFL because they're all going full speed and they're all. It's just an interesting thing, like because in high school people get hurt all the time because they're just not going full speed. They try and like stop before a tackle, and that's when they really get hurt instead of just going through it. And like this is just nuts, though, man. Like I
mean, Dan, if you
there's going to be some issues.
Try to look this up and see what happened. I mean, like I mean, it really is crazy because I mean, there's no way that they could have been going faster than 20 miles an hour when they completed. And I want to say that's even pushing it. I mean,
I'll put it in this perspective is if you watch the college football playoff in Ohio, Georgia, and that call that didn't get called for targeting in the end zone, that hit was 20 times nastier than what this was. This was your typical hit.
Agree.
This is the type of hit you expect to see in every NFL game, especially from a safety.
You can say Ohio, Georgia.
I'm sorry, Ohio,
and Georgia. Okay,
yeah.
Ohio State and Georgia.
Yeah, I meant Ohio versus Georgia.
There's clearly a town in Georgia named Ohio.
There is actually, but
there is.
But this was your typical hit. This looked like the type of hit you learn to do when you're playing high school football. It wasn't anything crazy.
Hey, Erica, that's the part I'm talking about. But I didn't really want to watch this because I didn't want to drink an entire 12-pack tonight, but I'll go ahead and just get that fucking done so we can get even more depressed around here. That's awesome. Thank you. Ruining my emotional health.
I just feel like, Dan, like, honestly, like, I feel like if you see what happened, you're just going to be like, okay, like, this is kind of crazy. Like, especially you being able to have played and be in that perspective of being a player, like NFL, college, whatever, like, it's still bigger than high school. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
God, hang on.
Better understand and just be like, whoa, like, wait a second.
Hang on. We got Jerry Lawler tweeting out. And yes, the Jerry Lawler you think I'm talking about, Will, said, I would be willing to bet that DeMar Hamlin has suffered cardiac arrest from the blunt trauma of the blow to his chest. I know what that is like from experience.
But it wasn't even that hard.
It just did not seem like
he
that.
Ain't lying.
And I do too. I understand. I've taken hits to the chest. Like, they can knock you like crazy, and it doesn't take a lot. But
you think that you're dying for about 15 seconds.
Yeah. But
especially if you get hit within that certain amount of time that your heart's not supposed to get hit in. Like, you potentially could die.
Seizures aren't usually part of cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
No. Did you guys know that who was it? The magician, the really famous magician. Houdini. Harry Houdini. I love David Blaine, by the way. But Harry Houdini died from a punch to the stomach. Yes. From two from two fans.
Did you just see the hit, Will?
Oh, I just
not that bad.
Okay, he took it to the ground. He stood up.
3 seconds, he just dropped.
And the hit was out.
But the hit, it looks like your typical hit, right? Like
a traditional hit that you see in football. Like, it wasn't anything gross or nasty.
I've seen harder hits in high school football.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying it wasn't anything
figure
weird. And
Okay,
to
here we
me, it just seems like it was more of a medical emergency than something that came from the hit.
Well, I would say that it'll probably come out that clearly this was not just a football injury. Okay, so there was a pre-existing condition. I would guess.
And that's what Josie is saying, is she thinks that there's something medical wise.
I'm agreeing. Here we go.
Ando, I would say this is a good question, but I would say it's gonna come down to what was the cause. Like I said, I would be surprised if it was a football related injury. I just don't know how you could fix it. Like I said, it looked like a good hit, a clean hit. And again, DeMar was the hitter, not the hittee. It's not like he was hit unprotected. He was the one doing the hit. So
no, he was taking the punishment from the offensive player. I just saw it. I mean, he was obviously taking it, but at the same time, that's pretty. It had to have been just the right spot, dude. It had to have been just the right spot, and like Erica was saying, the exact moment when his heart might be beating at a weird way, and he took a pressure point right at the right spot, because that's what it looks like.
For those who have not seen it,
Cat got your tongue?
That's not what any of us want to see, and everybody's around him, and just hope that he's going to be okay.
So we'll take another break here in Cincinnati.
So
that's not fun to look at.
It's really not.
I mean, even as someone that's never played football, I played powder puff in high school. That's it. But seeing that, it's just ooh, it's not a good hit, but at the same time, it's still that basic hit that you would want to see.
It still was a pretty typical football hit.
Yeah.
There's zero helmet to helmet contact in that.
No helmet to helmet. He took it off to the chest.
This is not a head related thing. It is it's got to be a weird pre-existing condition, and then 100%. That's what it
triggered something. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The thing is, dude, these guys do extensive physicals.
Yeah.
So he had been checked out and passed. They would not let him on the field. Let's hope they would not let him on the field.
That's why my mind went to aneurysm, something that they can't discover.
Yes.
Stroke. A stroke can come out of nowhere.
You can tell he just goes from being basically when he gets up, he's completely fine. It's a normal thing, and then it just goes to nothing. He has no life in his entire body.
Yeah.
So that is fucking strange. That is strange.
I mean, honestly, it's really a sad situation. I mean, because to me, at the end of the day, obviously the whole situation is really, really shitty. But then you have the commissioner of the NFL. It takes you a fucking hour to finally say this game is suspended. It took you an hour? Come on. We're talking about a human life right now.
Well, but at the same point, and not to try to give him an excuse,
it's unprecedented.
He might not have known the gravity of the situation at the time. You can only react to something once you have the full story or whatever of events that happened. Yeah. And he ended up making the right decision, which is the most important thing.
No, for sure, he did.
In his defense, though, with Will, nobody has ever. This has never happened.
Yeah.
It has, but it doesn't happen usually. He's thinking oh, it's maybe he has a concussion. He passed out from getting the ball. He doesn't know that this could possibly be this guy's life, because that never happens.
All he knows is all the commissioner knows is an injury, and that's it.
I hate being on the side of Goodell, because I think he's one of the worst commissioners in sports. But this is unprecedented. He had to find out where the teams are at, and you never know. Some of these players are so competitive, they might have been like, no, we want to go out there and play for him. So you never know. You got to find out where the teams are at. You got to figure out where the coaches are at.
Right.
I mean, I can understand from that standpoint. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Josie. But, like, I understand totally from that standpoint. Every single fucking player on that field was bawling.
They all knelt down to pray.
Cincinnati had people that were crying. You can't tell me that they didn't, because it could have just as easily probably been one of them in that position. Like, none of them were going to go out there and continue to play that game. There is no way in hell any of them were going to play that game.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, yes, it's a very competitive league, but they're also brothers.
Yeah.
And
and it was said at one point, one thing you got to understand, and I it's actually funny. I really went back and been listening to full episodes of New Heights podcast this week because the Kelsey brothers are hilarious. #1 sports podcast in the world, by the way. Go check it out if you haven't listened to it. But you realize how much that these teams, these players, these guys they're closer to them than they are some of their own family members.
Yep.
Like Travis, and I just listened to the Travis and Pat Mahomes interview. Man, they're like brothers. They literally play off each other as the same way that Jason and Travis do. And that's all of them. Like you see Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, they're brothers. So you know this guy, that's their brother that just went down, and they know nothing about. They know nothing of what's going on. And they said it here. Football is a very mental game. You have to be super focused to play football. These guys were not focused to go back on that field.
Well, I mean, and if you're not focused in the game, you're leading yourself to possibly more injuries than what you're already sitting there dealing with. So, I mean, you legitimately have to sit there and think about everybody all around. You can sit there and say, oh, coach, let me go play. Let me go play. I want to play for my boy. I want to play for my brother. And I get that. But you've got to also think, like, if you're not in that right mindset to hyper focus, then you're just putting yourself in that position to possibly have more people get hurt or just
the waiting room for UC Medical is going to be like a scene from Remember the Titans in about 30 minutes.
Okay, they did announce that the game will not resume tonight.
Yeah, they announced that right about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or 9 o'clock my time. But oh man, it's just one of those things that you never want to see in professional sports. It looks like they've got Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, and I swear to you, they've both been crying.
Yeah, they're showing, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but they got Josh Allen just bawling on my TV screen right now. He's just bawling after it happened. I mean, so there was no way in hell that their quarterback alone was going to be, I mean, they were all in absolute tears. I mean, I saw one guy, he was just walking all the way to the end zone into the goalpost just to contain himself from the situation. Like, I couldn't even imagine being in that position.
But then on top of it,
his mama was sitting there watching this too. His mama was sitting there and watched this all happen.
You got these big old linemen who everybody thinks is the tough just bawling their eyes out.
Well, it obviously makes even the opposite team who doesn't even know the guy contemplate their own mortality.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're like, that's scary. They were all scared.
It could have been their safety. It could have been their own safety. It could have been anybody on their team that this happened to. I mean, unfortunately, this is one of those risks of playing such an aggressive sport like football. I mean, this is one of those downfalls to it. But you damn sure in hell don't want to see this happen to somebody, especially someone that's still a baby. I mean,
yeah, and luckily this is like super, like what we were talking about. Like, it's super unprecedented for somebody to actually like die on a field. Like, that is some different. Like, we're not even going to say. I really, really hope he doesn't die. But like, if that is the case, this is so rare And like that's why they were scared about it. You know what I'm saying? They're so scared because they've never seen anything like. They're just like, oh yeah, guys break their legs and stuff. There's
guys get caught.
That's different. This is different.
Let's talk about Alex Smith a couple of years ago. That was a brutal.
That motherfucker came back and played.
Yep.
And that dude.
Shout out to Alex Smith.
When they said he may not walk again, he played and won comeback player of the year.
Dude,
and
his shattered bones tore arteries in his leg. Think about that for a second.
Oh,
like
you
the
can
actual sharpness.
You can hear it in Troy Aikman's voice. Sorry, Dan, but you can hear it in Troy Aikman's voice that he's been crying. There's no doubt that man has not been crying.
Troy Aikman looks like he's always been crying, though.
I mean, that's true.
He looks like he's high all the time.
It's not that he's either drunk or high. He's either drunk or he looks drunk or high.
Troy Aikman's that guy who has like who like has the monthly tanning subscription with like the teenagers, and he just goes and tans every day, and like they're like, that's Troy Aikman right there. He just like goes and has a good 5-minute tan. He just gets very tan. His skin probably feels like a leather jacket.
Well, he's drunk or he's high.
Well, he's drunk. I mean, he's obviously drunk. He drinks scotch in the booth with Buck the whole time.
Well,
those two just fucking yucking it up.
Yep.
Being rich and shit.
We will update on this as we get any more information throughout the show. We would keep talking about this, but we don't know a lot at this point, and I think everything that's really been said can be said.
I'm positive about it. I feel like he's gonna. Obviously, there's something positive about this. I feel like he's gonna live though.
Okay.
I feel like he's gonna live, and let's hope it's positive.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to be not good.
Again, if there's any updates throughout the show, we will let you know.
Just
since we're talking football, let's stick with football and just dive right into the huddle real quick,
Josie.
Yeah.
Real quick before you do that, since we're just already in the depths of the deepness, like this is for Stefan right here.
Thank you for reminding. Actually, thank you for reminding me, Dan.
Right here, it's gonna sit right back here on camera for the remainder of any show that I ever do. That's Stefan's beer right there, and it's gonna sit there. So
the sports report.
Just while we're already in the depths of fucking wallowing in madness.
No, my plan was to lead off with that, Dan, and with this I wasn't able to. But
no, it's all good. It's just I don't really want to talk about it anymore.
Well, I did want to say. I didn't hear anything that was.
We can't start firing people over stuff that they literally they don't know what's going on.
And again, people are upset. Like emotions are high.
However, I will say this. You, as a member of the media, particularly when you're as seasoned as Susie Kobler is, she's no rookie, and you have to have a level of decorum and professionalism in all your comments. And now is not the time to be insensitive about anything.
Right. Why is she being insensitive about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
I don't know what was said, but
exactly.
I'll try to look it up.
The whole thing basically from the incident, and I didn't hear anything that made me think of any like.
But if she said something that was,
the worst thing I've seen is what we talked about with Skip.
If she said something that was out of pocket, then shame on her. But Susie's no rookie at all. She's been in the business forever, and you have to have a level of decorum in what you say and also professionalism.
Real quick,
agree, but
I did. I wanted to say, Sports Report lost a dear friend this past week in Stephen Weaver. He was co-host of Winter Meetings with our boy Seven and Craig. He passed away unexpectedly this past week. Stephen was an amazing guy. I got to call a World Series with him this past World Series Game 2, and it was amazing. So knowledgeable about the game. You got to do with Stephen one of those things you always wanted to do is ask pros questions. And Sports Report will forever have the Stephen Weaver rule, which is you must wear pants on stream.
Yes, I'm actually going to take my laptop with me and urinate while on live in memory of Stefan. Dude, we said like he was like the greatest color commentator of baseball that's ever fucking lived. That never had an actual professional job doing it.
Had a shot.
And I'm gonna get Tony to post it on YouTube so we can have it all out there. Hey, I already did, man. I already did. He's got one right back here. He's got a beer right back here. It's going to sit here. It's going to be full the whole time. It's going to sit right there. But, yeah, I forgot where I was going now. No, he has a rant about the Red Sox, about Terry Francona managing. Yes. That is one of the fucking most hilarious things I've ever heard in my life. And it's literally like, it's because he knows so much about the game and he's so funny that it's like, it's just him like ranting about like how Terry Francona sucks. And I will get Tony to post that, and we're going to pull some like excerpts from it because some of the stuff he like one lines is like stuff that I want to play on a fucking one of those repeating machines because it's so fucking good. But yeah, I don't really want to talk about that anymore.
Well, last thing, we're going to take a quick moment of silence for Stefan as well as sending goodbyes to DeMar. All right, let's bump up the happiness in this show a little bit because this has been a sad show so far. We're going to dive right into the huddle and talk some sports and talk some football that's not sad.
Hey guys. So these two guys are going hunting, right? And they all come together and they come out there. There's two guys hunting, split up. They're like, all right, we're going to cover some more ground. We're going to go hunt these deer, right? And so they split up. Meanwhile, one of them has to take a shit. So he sits down on the log, takes a shit, and he falls asleep while he's sitting on the log, right? And the other guy shoots a deer. Miles away, shoots a deer, comes back, sees the guy who fell asleep on the log taking a shit, right? So he figures he's going to play a joke on him. He takes some of the deer guts that he just cleaned, sets it up right behind him where he's taking a shit at, and walks back to the truck, right? About 20 minutes later, the guy that was taking the shit comes limping up to the truck, gets in the truck, and he's like, hey, man, what's going on out there? He goes, I fell asleep on a log taking a shit. I think I shit some of my guts out. He's like, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, if it wasn't for God's grace and a greasy stick, I never would have gotten back up there.
Dan, oh, my God. Oh my God!
Wow. Real quick. Seven gave an update.
Huh?
That's a good sign. That's a good note.
I just hope, dude, that there's okay. So now they're going to stabilize him, and he should live through this. Okay. Now I hope that if his heart stopped for that long, there's not any long-term effects of it. He's obviously going to be affected long-term. He's never going to play in the NFL again. That'll be the best. That's not even relevant right now. If it's just he doesn't play in the NFL ever again, then that is what it is. Because that's probably not going to happen. But
so we kind of covered this a little bit. Dark Sage, like
I agree with that. By the way,
I do agree with this statement on part of it. The other part of it is, again, unprecedented. Like, it was a lot for them to wade through and figure out how to handle this. Now, do I think they could have Goodell could have any point stood up and said, no, I'm done. It's done. But there was a lot of things up in the air that they had to figure out because nothing like this has ever happened before.
Yeah. Can we please not jump to conclusions on the NFL's treatment? I mean, I 100% agree that they haven't treated their players well, and that's why literally we all have little parties when all these dudes get paid that much money because that's absolutely worth it. They are worth it, and it's coming back to them at this point. Like it's like I hate the fucking thing so much where dudes are like, oh, the NFL players getting paid all that money. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I was like, do you understand how
the NFL doesn't cover their insurance and doesn't?
No, I'm just saying, like, do you realize how exclusive they are in their fucking profession, dude?
Yeah.
Do you realize how exclusive they are? Because I guarantee none of those people who say that, well, they get paid too much money. Are you a top 100 person in your profession in the fucking world? Are you a top 100 at anything that you've ever done in your life? Do you have a skill that you're top 100 at? Because I doubt it. That's pretty fucking exclusive company. And to do it and entertain and like, you know what I'm saying? Like they deserve the money that they make because they make money. Like that's what they make money for. Yeah.
Guys, I don't know if anybody here is a racing fan or if you watch Rob Dyrdek or anything like that, but God, 2023 is not starting off well. Ken Block died in a snowmobile accident.
Wow, really?
I didn't hear that.
It just happened. It was just announced. Sportsaholics chat just posted it.
Do you know what though? If I could find a silver lining in that, I feel like Ken Block would want to die.
Oh yeah,
on snowball. You know what I'm saying?
This is the man that introduced Jim Connor videos, which was literally showing how crazy he could get with a car. Like,
yeah, I feel like he would have wanted to. How old was he?
50,
Jesus,
that's 53, 52,
56.
56.
56. Yeah.
Don't ask me math.
Well, yeah, I mean so I mean, yeah, that's
too late.
No, he's 60. He was 66.
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah, I feel like that's how he would
have
wanted to go, though. Like I feel like that's how he would have wanted to go. Just
definitely
mid-air collision, fucking snowball. Like, he was having a blast when it happened. If that makes anybody feel better.
Owner of
all right
DC shoes.
All right, let's talk. We had some games that went down.
Week 17 in the NFL, man. Season's almost over. Hang on real quick, Will. I did have a little bit of announcement that might put us in a better mood.
Okay.
Where is it? Go ahead with your thing. It looks like I'm gonna have to download it. Give me a second.
All right, cool. Yesterday, the Pittsburgh Steelers keep their playoff hopes alive as they beat the Baltimore Ravens 16-13. Another game, Baltimore gives up a big lead. That defense is too good for that. It's too good for that. They need to fix that. And I know there was little Lamar Jackson there. I understand that, but you had a lead. You need to fix that defense. That defense was horrible down the stretch. You made Kenny Pickett look like the second coming of Michael Vick. The way he was rolling out of the pocket, hitting, just firing on all cylinders.
That's their calling card too, Will. That's their.
Oh my gosh!
I got another one for you. Will, is the Eagles. Just not 4 weeks ago, we were saying number 1 seed, gonna be in the Super Bowl more than likely, and now they haven't even clinched yet. And if Jalen doesn't play next week, I'm not sure they do.
Well, they still can. You know,
they can, but they have to win next week, which means Jalen has to play. And from what I heard, he may not be able to play.
Garland Minshew, he really failed that team yesterday. Made a lot of mental mistakes, a lot of errors. Saints defense stepped up. Got Marshawn Lattimore back for the first time in a while. They was able to lock him down. But again, that was I'll put that on Gardner. All on Gardner.
Well, do you feel like Gardner Minshew is like if you bought Baker Mayfield on Wish?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Like that's basically what it is. It's like he's the even more unstable version of Baker Mayfield, which is like just not a great, like, you have to have his back against the wall and he has to be an underdog and he can come back and people are like, oh my God, he came back from down. But if he's favored in the game, he's going to suck up the fucking house. Like there's no, like that chip on his shoulder only goes one way. And it's unfortunate. That mustache.
And talking about Gardner Minshew, I was listening to the New Heights this week's episode of the New Heights podcast, and that's a weird dude. He sounds like a weird dude. He does yoga in the locker room before the game in just his jockstrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hilarious is what it is. That's just hilarious.
But I'm still trying to figure out a quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. You will have every weapon available to you. Miles Sanders is healthy. AJ Brown is healthy.
One of the
Devontae Smith is the best players on offense.
Well,
Goddard is back healthy, and you still.
And then on top of that, Will, you have one of the best O-lines in football right now. Literally, that entire O-line is going to the Pro Bowl.
If you didn't trust Gardner Minshew to get this win for you, what you should have done run the football and work
All
off
day
play
long.
and run off play action. I know the Saints defense in that front seven is solid, but you can still run the football on them. This is not Doom Patrol Saints. You can still run the football on them. That's what they should have done. No, you don't ever put the game of that importance in the hands of a backup.
How many times did he throw the ball? How many times did Gardner Minshew throw the ball?
Let's look it up and see.
That's far too many.
While he's looking that
Yeah,
up,
I agree.
While he's looking that up, real quick, I'm gonna run a little video announcement.
Awesome. Awesome.
I don't know. I just felt that Dan, like the logo looked trippy to me. Like the
it's
way
psychedelic.
The way they've done the logo this year with the Arizona, it looks like they're kind of leaning on that psychedelic. So that's how I went with my video. I like it.
I like
he
it.
was
really
Gardner was 18 for 32, 274, 1 TD, 1 interception. That was 18 times too much. I'm just saying you should have run the football.
It was about 12 times too many for real. Like he should have been like 12 for 20. And how many? I mean, Miles Sanders. How many times did Miles Sanders touch the ball?
12.
12 times. I'm not a Miles Sanders fan particularly, but I think he's a solid running back that you should have definitely left the. Yeah.
You know, most running backs need about 20 touches to stay consistent.
This comment right here, I 100% agree with. Sorry, Will, I was going to read it.
You good? Go ahead.
There should be a realignment in the playoffs because it is absolute crap that Dallas or the Eagles are going to be 13-4 and still probably going to have to go play Tom in Tampa when he's going to have a losing record.
One of them will. I ain't saying both, but one will.
But honestly. When you have a division like the NFC East, where every single team could be in the playoffs, Tampa shouldn't even be in there. And I would say the same thing about Jacksonville, even though Jacksonville is probably going to win the South and go to the playoffs. And I will say this, as a Texans fan my entire life, it is hard for me to say anything good about AFC South opponents. But Jacksonville, the last few games, has started to look good. And I don't think they do much in the playoffs this year. But I think next year Jacksonville is going to be a force. Trevor Lawrence is starting to look good. Oh, sunshine! He is starting to look like an NFL caliber quarterback. It took him some time. He had a shitty coach last year in Urban Meyer, but this year they've started to gain some ground, and I would say that they have a shot at AFC Championship.
Trevor Lawrence is like if you
back up. Whoa. Did you just say
next year?
Okay, I'm about to get on you because they ain't gonna be this year.
Not this year.
What do you say this year? Okay.
No, I say they have made great strides this year.
They have,
and
they spent money.
They spent money, and Shad Khan has opened that wallet.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that they may get past the wild card round, depending on who they end up playing, but they won't get past the divisional round.
Trevor Lawrence is like if you bought Justin Herbert on Whatnot. Is pretty much what Trevor Lawrence is.
I will say this for Jacksonville, though.
I
will say this for Jacksonville. Their defense is improving, and they have weapons on that team. Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, Travis Etienne, they finally put trust in him. Let James Robinson go. They got some talent there.
We sat right here and made jokes. We sat right here and made jokes about Jacksonville's offense. Exactly what you're talking about. Remember we were talking about how hey, those motherfuckers look good in street clothes, bro. They look real good in some shorts and some fucking knot pads, dude. They look, oh my God, in warm-ups, man, and fucking OTAs. Those motherfuckers look like the best team in the NFL, dude. Just out there fucking just a bunch of studs, right? And then they get in the game and it's like, oh shit. It's just a bunch of guys who really don't like contact.
You got to give it to them. They playing, and with the way Tennessee's like a walking mash unit. Everybody hurt.
Yeah, I mean Derrick Henry's still not going to be playing next week, so they lose.
Everybody hurt. Tannehill ain't playing next week.
Not that it's saying much, but they beat the Texans 31-3, made them look like chumps. When just 2 weeks ago the Texans were giving KC a run for their money. I'm just saying.
A really fantastic question.
See, the only thing I see about that Dallas is not, but geographically, and that's what it's based off of.
It's in the East.
Dallas is not in the South.
Yeah, it's
yes,
still,
it is.
No, it ain't.
Dallas
is more Midwest.
It's a little more north in Texas, but it's definitely like if you cut it into fours, it's definitely in the South.
Dallas tends to,
but it doesn't make sense because you're taking Carolina out and putting Dallas And we talking about if you talking about the NFC South, that make no sense.
See, the problem with that you're going to have there, Dan, is people from Georgia don't think Texas is the South. And a lot of those people from the South don't think Texas is the South. So,
and people from Texas think they're their own country.
We are our own country because we're better than everybody else.
Exactly. You guys own tigers and you shoot guns. And it's fantastic.
Get some help. Stop it. Let's get some help. Let's get some help. Do I need to play it again?
Stop it. Get some help.
Come on now.
They tried to secede. They tried to secede and they failed miserably. Like, what were they going to be? I mean, Mexico? What if just Mexico started in Texas?
Texas is probably the only state in the union that could possibly sustain itself.
California could.
California.
Cali could. Yeah.
Other than that, those two, there's not really a state who can sustain themselves without other states helping.
Nebraska totally could. We're right in the middle. We have all the food, so fuck off.
But I do want to say this too. The team I'm looking at,
horse and buggy, though, Josie.
The team I'm looking at more and more, and I get why some people might not think they're a sexy pick because of the quarterback situation, but the 49ers, man. Ooh.
Did Brock Purdy win this week?
Ooh, they won,
yes,
Brock Purdy is still undefeated.
Oh my God!
The Purdy mouth's not here to rep, so I'll rep it.
Listen. My thing is this. This week was an aberration, I think, because the defense normally don't give up 34 points, but they were able to be creative enough to get that win. You got Christian McCaffrey, you got Ayuk, you got Kittle, Debo's coming back. That might be the team. Be the team.
Well, okay, here's my question for you. Here's my question. What does San Francisco do in the playoffs? Do they go deep? Does Purdy go out first round? What do they do in the playoffs?
I think is Garoppolo their quarterback?
I think they go.
No, it's probably
Garoppolo's out for the season.
It needs to be Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I think Purdy's all they got.
Yeah,
at this point.
It is. So we don't know. For one, I mean, he's unexperienced. He has nothing. He has no experience before this at all, which actually might be a good thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because he's not going in there all fucking nerve wracked and shit. So hey, wing it, bro. You have nothing to lose. And he's been playing like he has nothing to lose. You know what pisses me off about Brock Purdy? Here's my thing. This is what pissed me off about Brock Purdy. Here's the thing. Okay, that's my Tony Godson impression. Brock Purdy. Here's the thing. He has a brother named Chubba Purdy. Not a joke. His name is Chubba.
No way.
His younger brother has played at Nebraska, the Cornhuskers, as a quarterback for 4 fucking years, and he hasn't even started. I mean, I think he started a couple of games, but
and you got your little
why
brother.
Can't we get? Did Brock suck all of the talent out of the womb, and then there was none left for
little brother who was literally Mr. Irrelevant 2021, who's now undefeated in the NFL.
Oh, and I got one more thing to say, and I know he's not here to defend himself. I'm gonna say it anyway. 7, Kirk Cousins ain't that guy.
Oh no, he's definitely not that guy.
He ain't that dude. 41-17.
Kurt
ain't that dude.
Kurt just can't. He can't handle primetime. He can't handle primetime. He always chokes in primetime.
Regular season primetime, he does handle though.
Sometimes,
like that game of Buffalo that they won. Yeah, I'll give him that. You know, when there's no expectations, when there's no serious expectations, he could come through occasionally. But yesterday, they needed that game yesterday. That was a division game. They needed that game yesterday, and he came up short.
Big implications. It seems like there's like no edge.
Ando, this right here is because Matty Ice is cursed. That's all there is. Matt
cursed.
Ryan is cursed.
I said that in chat. He hella cursed. But Cousins was 18 for 31, 205 yards, 1 TD, and 3 interceptions. That there, man. Come on now.
With the best wide receiver in the NFL.
You got the best wide receiver in the NFL. And one of the best
possibly the best
running
running back. Yeah, possibly the best. I love Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook is one of the premier running backs in the NFL. I think he's top 3. Well, I mean, obviously, you have the guy who's going to be the number 1. If you got a running back draft, you're going to take Derrick Henry. I think that's probably. But Derrick Henry is a whole different freak story. But I think for prototypical running backs in the NFL, Dalvin Cook is a fucking dude. He's a freak. And so that offense is low. I mean, they got T.J. Hawkinson.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like they where he just falls out of nowhere from Detroit.
Yep.
And it's like that offense is so loaded. That offensive line is good. And I feel like fucking Kirk Cousins has no edge, dude. He has no. I loved the you like that shit. That was like his edge thing. Like and he doesn't. It's not there.
This dude, Justin Jefferson, was held. And shout out to Ja'Rari Alexander. Shout out to you.
Shut up, Erica.
But Justin Jefferson, 1 catch, 15 yards.
He had one reception.
I have no idea why.
1 reception, 15 yards.
Why did you?
I said it because I just saw your private comment.
Oh, you just saw the private chat.
Saw your fucking stupid private comment. Aren't you from Oklahoma? Go away.
Oh.
Bang. Got her. Hey, just like all your coaches and all your players,
you know what?
I just go away.
Hold on a second. Let's talk about that Nebraska-Oklahoma record. You want to start talking shit?
Oh, she got you there,
I
dog.
believe
she got you there, dog.
I mean, I have the second most wins all time.
Nebraska has the better record.
She got.
They do
Nebraska
by like
15 record.
games. They do. I know by like 15 games. We dominated you guys for like 30 years.
Everybody got
like 30 straight years.
So Bleacher just came with an update. I don't know if you guys have already said anything or not, but his vitals are back to normal.
Oh yeah, we got it.
He is going to be undergoing further testing, and he's still intubated.
Yeah, we got it.
One of our guys in Sportsaholics just said he lives in Cincy. He went up to the hospital and he says it's crazy. Fans, reporters. It says vigils.
Everything. He said it's absolutely nuts.
I think another thing too that's going to kind of affect what goes on in the playoffs. Dallas, you got that Prescott hurt. You don't know if he's going to start. You don't know if he's going to start the next game, or if it's going to linger into the playoffs. That's a big deal. You don't know what New York Giants team you're going to get in the playoffs. They won this weekend, but you don't know what team is going to be in the playoffs. So, you got a whole lot of variables going into the playoff season.
Real quick, I want to move on to talk baseball and stuff, but I did want to talk CFP real quick, or CFB playoffs real quick, because man, those were some nail-biting games.
Hey guys, why are we moving on right now?
That kicker from Ohio State, his scholarship gone.
Because we got other stuff to talk about, Dan.
His scholarship gone.
That's actually a thing?
Yeah.
You guys are just adding graphics without letting me know. I think the fucking screen's fucked up.
But that kicker from Ohio State.
Yeah, I was the one who showed up early. I knew all about it.
Rebels.
That kicker from Ohio State, he done. They put that.
See what happens when you're a Sooner fan? You get there
sooner. Give that motherfucker. Do you know how cold-blooded you have to be to underdog against the number 1 team in the country, hit a 53-yard field goal?
I'm not saying it's
in
a
the
gimme.
heat of the moment, dude. That's a dog. If he fucking drills that kick, that guy has fucking ice in his veins.
Yeah, they iced him.
Perfectly.
Still, you gotta hit
Didn't
it.
let him get the practice kickoff.
Sure. but you got to hit it. That was the win. If Ohio State would have won that game, we talking differently about a championship game. We are talking differently.
TCU putting it on Michigan, man, and like Michigan tried.
Michigan lost 6 straight. What was it, Dan? Michigan lost like what 6 straight bowl games or something like that.
It's because
terrible.
they're in the top.
Is Harbaugh done? Is Harbaugh done?
Bro, Harbaugh's going to the NFL.
He's already rumors out there
going back to the NFL.
Yeah, there's already rumors out there saying he's going back to the NFL.
He's the most coveted coach in the NFL right now. If you're going to make a splash hire, you hire.
And I have a serious question for you.
Or Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Can you show off your disgusting Yankee shit really fast?
My what?
Can you show off your disgusting, nasty ass Yankee shit?
All my Yankee stuff?
There's a lot of stuff.
I couldn't show it in a 3.5-hour show.
Just slide and show the disgusting jersey.
But yeah.
Makes you want to puke. Please move back over.
But yeah, great college football games, both really high scoring. What do y'all think is going to happen as far as the championship, TCU versus Georgia? Does Georgia repeat, or does TCU do the upset?
I think Georgia's going to win.
I think Georgia's going to win too. It's going to be it's not going. I don't think it'll be a blowout though. That TCU defense is just so good. It's so good. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it'd be contested, but Georgia should be able to pull it out. They should be able to pull a close win. But again, TCU's going to fight.
TCU. The thing about TCU, and this is what almost got them in the Michigan game, was this sheer fact, Erica.
Ew. But he is really awesome.
He has the greatest ass in sports.
The thing.
Oh my God, doesn't he though?
The thing about TCU is they can score and score and score and score, and that's what has won them most of their games. But they have a crap defense, terrible defense, and it shows with Michigan.
No, the thing with TCU though, the thing with TCU though. Their defense has stepped up throughout the season when they needed to.
I mean, are you sure you're from Nebraska? Because you're kind of acting like a true Yank right now. Like you're pretty conceited.
Erica, yes, I do. This is Babe Ruth's actual hat. It's like $1 million. I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. Georgia by 21. Wow. TCU, Pat McAfee literally called it out like the third week of the season when they played Kansas. He was at College Game Day, and he turned around, and he literally was looking at TCU's game live. Dude, they're the Dallas Cowboys of college football, man. They are.
We know
Nebraska, Mike Tomlin, baby.
But that ain't gonna happen.
McAfee turned around and looked at TCU's team, and he was like, those are some big dudes. He's like, that's legitimate. Like, those guys are all huge. And they just went out and killed Kansas and then rolled, obviously. By the way, their Sonny Dykes is a Mike Leach fucking disciple.
Yep.
Just on a side note.
I just think that defense is going to step up and give Georgia a little bit of hell, but I think eventually Georgia will pull away.
All right. With that, we're going to move on to the 7th inning stretch.
Yes.
I want to be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints.
So the big 7 is not here today. He's taking a little bit of personal time, but he will be back soon. He did send me a couple of things he wanted to talk about. I want to talk about power rankings for the 2023 year came out today. I want to talk about that. But first thing he wanted me to bring up, Correa deal still in the works with the Mets. It's going to be shorter and below $300 million, but they will sign him. Deal will have an opt-out because of serious injury like JD Martinez had in Boston.
Remember that.
7 is expecting is 7 years opt-out at 4 or 5.
Something was seriously wrong.
From what I've heard, it's his leg that he hurt in the minors and for the Astros. they don't like the way it's healed, is from what I've heard, and they worry that just the slightest thing could.
It's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
We seen that. We're going through that right now with your boy Odell. That's why Dallas didn't sign him, because they didn't like the way his leg was looking.
Yeah.
Coming off that surgery.
I think the only difference is, like with most guys that they have any issue with like your ligaments or anything that have healed. I think this one they can't do surgery on it again. They're not going to go in and like refix it. It's going to have to break itself, and that's what they're worried about. They're literally like, okay, so we can't operate on this. Like we could just get an operation done, a scope or whatever, and we'll just fix it, right? They can't do that. And that's what scares them, is like they're going to have to let it happen first.
Yep.
So in the middle of any season, at any time, during any postseason, you could have your shortstop, one of your best players on your team, just absolutely fucking just be out because he just took a wrong step, a non-contact thing, which is what it seems like it's going to be. So he's a ticking time bomb. He's randomly going to miss an entire season in the middle of that contract, guaranteed almost. And that's the issue. Then that's what they're trying to work through.
What do y'all think the money is going to be now? $250?
Probably in the just over $200 million range. If Seven thinks it's going to be 7 years, he's usually pretty close. So I'd say it's probably going to be 7 years, 215 or 220.
I agree.
225.
Yeah, that's probably.
It'll be over 30 million. They won't give him the whole, and it'll be so incentive based.
They'll probably only guarantee a year of it or two, maybe. It'll be. I mean, baseball contracts are fully guaranteed. So really?
They've always been fully guaranteed. Always.
Yeah. So he's going to get all that money. It's just the incentive.
That's why you teach your son how to play baseball, because
baseball. My dad says all the time.
You don't have to worry about the injury factor, and you're gonna get a guaranteed contract regardless.
My dad says all the time that he wishes he stuck a glove in our hands and never let us put it down.
And that's what I don't like about people like talking about like, oh, the baseball season is just too long. That's where all of this money comes from, guys. People go to every one of those games.
It is
dude.
too long.
Do the math. Do the math. Like, it is too long, and I agree. But do the math, and that's why all that money is there, because people go to every single fucking game, regardless of what team it is. There is hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars rolling through every MLB stadium, every game every day of the whole season. So like that's where all that money comes from to pay those players, is out of the fucking sheer volume of games that they play. Sheer volume. Yeah. And that's what it is.
And volume is the most important thing.
It is. That's what baseball is. And that's why baseball becomes so mathematical, because it's literally like running things through a simulation. Almost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because like you can figure out numbers and stuff out of like how many fucking games they play. They do so many simulations that it rounds out. And that's why the numbers are so interesting in baseball, because it you can tell what trends happen just by up and down numbers that seem so insignificant. But since they play so many games, there's so many at-bats and shit, it becomes significant. So that's
it's just like we talked about it earlier with Dalvin Cook. What's the thing that makes Dalvin Cook king in Minnesota? That volume. That's what makes him king in Minnesota.
And availability.
Yep.
Because he has to have volume. So Yep. You're gonna say something, Jose.
Power rankings.
I was weird about the Mets.
I disagree.
At 2.
What do you disagree with?
What would you change, Will?
I disagree with, and I love them. Do not get me wrong, but I'm just looking at past performance. I disagree with the Mets at 2.
Yeah, that's
where you think they should be.
I really do. I would swap them with the Braves.
I can see that. I think Houston definitely deserves the number 1 spot. I think, like we've said come on, Erica, get your butt.
The thing with me though is because of the fact if you look at past performance, Mets start hot, cool off in the end. Braves start out struggling, but they finish strong toward the end of the season, and you got to give them credit
the
for
Mets
that.
Rank 2 is all the money they've shelled out this season.
Right.
And
they have shelled out a lot of money.
Guys, all I have to say is the Dodgers should not be sitting at 7. Dodgers, in my opinion, need to be sitting so much lower than that.
I'm saying lower. Oh,
I'm
snap.
salty. I am so salty
hell of a
with
take.
the Dodgers right now. No, I mean, but for real though, I mean, like, look, they wiped out the entire team that was our 2020 championship fucking World Series team. It's pretty much all gone.
You still have Kershaw.
We're starting from ground zero again. In my opinion, this is our rebuild. I don't feel like LA should be sitting at 7.
So what should they be? So Erica, where should they be, Erica?
Are they top 10?
Who would you switch with?
There's 32 teams. They need to be 32.
Oh.
There's 30 teams. There's 30 teams, and they need to be number 30.
Like, I'm ride or die LA Dodger. Like,
Stop it.
up, like, I
Get some
love
help.
my Dodgers. But I mean, what the fuck are they doing? I mean, Josie, come on. Like, you and I have sat here and had like the conversation. Like,
would you? Well, let me ask you a question. Okay.
10 straight playoff appearances. Only 1 World Series win. Only 2 World Series appearances.
Would you put them ahead of the
insane.
Phillies? Would you put them ahead of the Phillies though?
and then
Absolutely not.
No.
No.
In my list, Philly should be higher.
who? The Dodgers?
Phillies should be switched with the New York Mets. And
Yes.
that list is perfect. You switch the Phillies and the Mets, and that's
I will 100% agree with that because look at what the Phillies have picked up this year. And
Yes.
specifically, look what the Phillies have gotten from the Dodgers. They just got Trey Turner. On top of it, they just got Craig Kimbrell. The Phillies are stacking themselves up. I want to count the Phillies out. I guarantee they're going to be right back.
Do you think the Dodgers are where they are because they have that World Series ring?
No.
Yes.
What do you mean?
I feel like it.
Because they were champions a couple of years ago.
Did they rank them as 7 because they got that?
I
No,
mean,
he's saying
he's
And
saying
that's
is
probably
saying
a big
they're
possibility.
worse.
That
but I
quote
still don't
unquote
think that's
that quote unquote
hangover
respect.
Oh,
And plus-
yeah, okay.
And plus, when you go back and look at it, for some reason, even though it do all their faults and all their failures, they're still loved by a lot of these networks out here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, ESPN loves them.
8,
They're
Ando,
second,
number
they're
8
the-
for the Mariners is about good.
They're the
That's about right
second
for the
all-time
Mariners.
favorite.
That's about
They're the
right.
second favorite team in baseball, only second to the Yankees.
Yep. The media loves them.
Media-wise, Dan. Media-wise.
Yeah, media-wise. Yeah. Media loves them.
Boston is up there.
Boston
Despite
is
all their
right there,
failures, they
too.
love them.
Houston, for some reason, doesn't get the dynasty tag. Even though, I mean, they have made a legitimate claim to being consistently the best team in baseball.
We've had this discussion, Dan. I think if they can repeat this season, which with the off season they've got a shot. Dynasty is there.
Do
I
you
think
the
what
Padres
holds
are in a good
Houston.
spot?
I think. Hang on 1 second, Will. I think what holds Houston from getting that dynasty is the fact that they've been to 4 World Series and they've only won 2.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to making the playoffs and winning and going to the ALCS, hey, shut the fuck up.
At least if you're going to talk
They
about it, talk about with the right name.
They are a dynasty. It's the problem. It's that they just haven't won the ring enough times. But I agree.
I have an MLB 9 innings team for the Houston Astros, and it's not cheating, not playing 17.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do you think San Diego's in a good spot?
I would agree with that.
San Diego is like a collection. San Diego is like the Los Angeles Clippers of Major League Baseball. They're just like this collection of like ridiculously talented players
that can't play together.
That don't ever talk to each other and don't care about one another.
No chemistry.
And all the people that go to their games are like in business meetings while they're watching the game. So like there's like guys selling iPads in the 4th row. and they have no idea what's going on. But they don't care what's going on. They're just there to like sell to their clients. I'm like, hey, look at we're at a Padres game and look at all these star players that they have. And then they go 86 and 84. And it's like, what? Like, why are you guys so good and you aren't good? It just doesn't make any sense. They ridiculously talented.
But I just think you switch the Mets and the Braves around. Other than that, I'm cool with it.
Well, I would say switch the Mets and the Braves, but then put Philly in the number 2. So Mets at 3, or Atlanta stays 3, and Mets go to
that's
4.
Perfect.
Mets go to 4.
Yeah, Mets would be 4.
So,
and mind y'all, guys, the guy saying this is a Mets fan. Will is a Mets fan.
Yep. I'm just looking at Pat's performance. They're not number 2. They're not.
He's a real fan. He's not buying into the hype train.
Right. They're not.
What?
God, you think it's so hard to like you, Will.
But the Mets are not the number 2 team on this list.
The biracial angel.
They're not the number 2 team on this list.
Again,
oh my God, really?
They can.
Are the Mets better than the Yankees?
They could be, huh?
Are the Mets better than the Yankees?
Hell no.
If you
don't think they are? Okay.
Well,
if
you look at what they added this season, and that's what these power rankings are looking at, they could be. But the problem is you haven't got to see how that team is going to work together. They've added a lot.
You're looking from a statue. You're looking from a stance of potential. And you hope the guys have chemistry and can gel, and that's something that we don't know.
And especially this power ranking 2 is also putting Correa in that mix, and we still don't know where Correa stands.
You don't know where he stands. That's
when
true.
You know when the last time buying a championship worked?
The Yankees in the 90s?
2009, probably, or before that, the Yankees. Yes, like that was the last time it worked. It doesn't work anymore.
Buying a championship doesn't work in any sport. If that's the case, the Clippers would have been champions.
I mean, it did work for Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks once.
When? 2011? 2011 when they played the Miami Heat.
Team didn't spend no money on that team.
They did not spend any money. He
did not spend money on that team.
Kid out there shooting threes. He was like,
no.
Okay, real quick. Do y'all know what Mark Cuban? Do y'all know what Mark Cuban bought the Mavericks for? Do y'all know the number that he bought the Mavericks for?
It was below $1 billion.
I know
it was $250 million.
Okay.
But go back and look at the team before he got it.
They're worth today.
$6.5 billion.
$2 billion.
Okay.
But go back and look at how sucky that team was before he got it. That team was a laughing stock.
Rolando Blackman was their greatest player of all time.
Yep.
And now they have a guy who just went 60. Hey, Hardwood Wednesday nights. We'll talk about Luka Doncic. 9 Central. No, but yeah, they just had a guy who had a 60, 20,
That's
10
amazing.
game.
That's gonna put up a 60 piece.
That was insane. We talked about that last
How much a 60 piece cost at How much
a
60 piece cost at McDonald's? That's what I want to know. Because that's what Luka put up.
Wait, what are you guys talking about last week?
60 piece, boy.
We talked about it. That 60
piece with the barbecue sauce.
And 7.
Oh,
that 60 piece with the barbecue sauce.
Real quick before we move on, I want to go to fight night, and then we're going to get into the hardwood. Is there? So we talked about Philly, we talked about New York, San Diego. Do y'all feel like Seattle, Toronto, and Tampa Bay are in the right spot?
Can we take the power rankings off the fucking? It's Peter.
Well, I'm still talking about them real quick. So are Seattle, Toronto, and Tampa Bay in the right spot?
No. I will put.
I think Seattle deserves to be higher up there.
I will put Seattle ahead of the Dodgers.
I mean, we've said that the Dodgers don't really deserve to be
Every team deserves to be ahead of the Dodgers.
I think you put Seattle ahead of them.
I
trust them more. I
trust them more.
I trust them more in the postseason already. I trust the Dodgers.
Seattle has easily the most young talent. The most
they got a lot
young
of potential
talent.
on the team.
They're truly built for the future.
Seriously, Will, look at everything that LA has done in this offseason and the winter break that we've had. LA hasn't done anything. All we've done is gotten rid of players.
Yep.
Erica, like normal,
we've
your
picked
roster is
people
still
up.
fucking nasty. It's still good.
The roster's still sick. Don't get me wrong.
No. I'm not saying it's not.
I just don't trust
because
him in
if
the
you
postseason.
add Outman and you add Vegas or back into that lineup, and you use the have in that farm system that are sitting out here in Oklahoma City, like we have talent to add to that roster, but
you guys have puppy mills in like all of the South American countries.
For sure. No, for sure. I'm not going to disagree with you. Like, I don't know.
They're puppy mills.
So salty with the Dodgers right now. It's unreal. I'm mad.
He's not wrong. The Dodgers have.
They make it very hard to continue being a Dodgers fan.
The Dodgers have one of the best farm systems in Major League, probably only second to the Astros farm system.
Guys, I can't really sit here with the Yankees thing on and not talk about how the Yankees have puppy mills too.
But I just can't sit here with a straight face and say that Seattle don't deserve to be ahead of them because, like I say, I don't trust the Dodgers in the postseason.
And top 5 might be a little bit stretching it.
But Mariners are top 5. I don't know if I put them in top 5.
I say Mariners are 6.
What did he
higher up?
Is anybody going to bring up the fact that New York's still at number 5 and the only thing they really did splash-wise
was rehire Judge?
No, Rodon. Rodon was definitely their biggest. Like Carlos Rodon is a stud, bro. Like Carlos Rodon is a number 1 in any other starting rotation. He's a stud. But like that's a huge pickup. No, I think it's about perfect. I think they should probably be 5 or 6. There's 4 teams probably with more talent, and like Judge is the captain now, though, bro. This might be like the reincarnation of Jeter. You got biracial angels who are getting the captain nod. Like it's. I mean, they both do things that are exclusive to that sport. Like Judge hits home runs now. Jeter used to come up clutch in the, like it's kind of like the same kind of thing. They're not going to buy championships.
I mean, could you suck any more on the Yankees' dick than you're doing? I mean, you're like slobbing all over it. Right now.
I love how you're a Dodgers fan and you're just like downing them and telling them that like they need to be lower on the list when you have one of the most ridiculous.
Hold on. Josie, we need to take a quick commercial break. Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Let's keep playing it.
Now y'all stop fighting.
Talk through it.
No, we're not fighting. We're just having a conversation with each other. And I turned into an argument. But right now, it's not.
She's not being delusional, so that's good. I mean, you're just being a little harsh on the old Dodgers. We
are going to torture. If anybody doesn't have anything else on baseball, we are going to take a quick commercial break and come back with Fight Night. Does anybody have
razors? There you go.
On that note, we'll be right back.
Wrap up your Monday with some laughs. Make sure to join Will, Seven, Dan the Dick Warner, and Josie as they dive into the hottest topics of the week across sports, including baseball, basketball, and the NFL. You can catch the episode live Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, or Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. Don't miss the Sports Report Podcast. Don't miss Fight Night. Every Tuesday night, Will Morgan and Josie Haney break down the hottest topics of the week across combat sports, including UFC, boxing, WWE, AEW, and more. Past episodes are available on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, and each episode will air again Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. Don't miss Fight Night. Tune in or tap out. Put the kids to bed, put on your shades, and crack open a cold one during Sports Report After Dark with Seven and Dan the Dick Warner. You can catch After Dark Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, and again Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. We believe that athletes are people too, and Skip Bayless is one of the lizard people. Don't miss Sports Report After Dark.
Even when you feel slow, you can Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go, go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never.
All right.
Erica, why don't you get permission to smoke in your house? Donovan Mitchell, who I have just been repping all season, if you guys don't recall. I mean, I hate to say that I can just tell the fucking future.
Is he just going into the hardwood when I just played the intro for Fight Night?
Bro, Donovan Mitchell is not a wrestler. We'll talk about him in a second. Josie.
All right.
We also got some scores you're going to run down as well.
71, Will.
I'm
71.
I'm not going to take a super long time. My thing before I get into Dan's question of the week, real quick. Big news in wrestling is Friday night. Charlotte Flair made her return to WWE, and right off the bat beat Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Bullshit.
I think my reaction more than the actual thing, Will, is the fact that the fans are happy about it.
Well, that's because Ronda was such a bad champion.
And I agree. Ronda's a terrible champion. But they literally took an old pig, slapped new paint on it, gave it a new theme music, had her come out as a surprise, win the title, her 14th, by the way, in not even 10 years as a wrestler. And people were happy about it.
I ain't happy.
It's crap. It was cheap. And I will say it's one of the worst things Triple H has done.
Bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. That's exactly what it is. Yes, take the title off Ronda. I get it, but make the girl work for it. Come on now. Yeah. Ain't no different what they did with Bianca and Bella that last time they met.
So yeah. That was my big thing. Is I think it's crap, and I don't get me wrong. I'm glad the title's off Ronda, but there were so many better options.
So many better ways you could have done it.
I would have rather seen Gonzalez beat Ronda and take the title than to see Charlotte win it.
There's so many different ways you could have. No. She ain't the answer either.
But, I know you don't like her.
She ain't the answer either. She's too big and too stiff. But yeah, I just think it's dumb, and you should have done it a different way. If you wanted to be the champ, I got you. I understand that, but not like that. Not like that. I say no different than Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. No different.
Is that the blonde woman that you guys were putting in the post in the sports report? Okay.
Yeah,
she got jawline for days.
Look like a fraud face Power Ranger.
That is a handsome woman.
Looking like exactly. I think out of all the pictures I've seen of her, there's only been one I liked. Only one.
She's a handsome woman, Will.
That's a fraud face Power Ranger for your ass right there, boy.
She looks like my slot receiver in high school.
All right, Dan. So what's your question?
I look like a tight end.
What's your question?
She's out there. She's all conference, baby. All conference.
Yeah.
all conference. She's been doing them. We used to call them chick workouts. The old curls and you get all the chick muscles.
No ass, though.
It's not a chick muscle.
She need ass, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, apparently it is a chick muscle. I mean, I missed it. I missed that memo. I look like a frog that pulled up his pants. No, my question. You said that's the worst thing Triple H has ever done. How about the
no? Worst thing he's done as in charge now.
Worst thing to date.
I was gonna say because he did that.
And I'm only talking about him being in charge the last 6 months. That's all I'm talking about.
Worst thing to date.
Right. He did that super weird water bottle thing. So that was with his stringy half their hair.
Hold up. So Terrell Owens tweeted this back to Skip Bayless. You're despicable. I hope to God you lose your job for this tweet. You really think that this game holds more weight than this young man's life. Dude, you're dead wrong for this.
Thank you, T.O.
T.O.
Thank you, T.O.
Voice of reason out here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, T.O. And the two people I feel sorry is going to get the backlash for that. I feel sorry for Shannon Sharp, and I feel sorry for Jen Hale.
Yeah.
Bro, I love T.O. and good for him. But I'm not gonna. I don't not a fan of Skip Bayless, but I don't think that Skip was trying. I think he was actually trying to make a statement more about it actually is irrelevant. I think that you guys are if it would have came after, if he would have put what he put and then posted after it.
Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, Dan. Darrell Reeves came into this discussion. We're playing a real Skip Bayless. All you care about is football when Damar Hamlin's life is at risk. Coming from you, I expected more. This tweet is not you of all people. You should know better, bro.
See, Dan,
Darius Slade, shake that shit up.
See, this is the thing, Dan. It's in this business, it's all about perception. And it's not being perceived as that. It is being perceived as the man made a very bad statement and when a guy's life is on the line.
Sauce Gardner, are you seriously talking about Sauce Gardner? Are you seriously talking about when the football game should be postponed? Damar Hamlin's health is all that matters at the moment. Nothing else. Greg Newsome II, pathetic.
That's the thing. It's just about perception, and it's perceived as he cares more about the game than this man's life.
I don't know how Skip can. I don't know if Skip can walk this back. I don't know how he is in that position with Fox. I don't know, but he's got to have some type of punishment coming for this stuff. He's got to. It's got to be a punishment somewhere.
I'm just telling you guys, I read that differently than you guys do. Then, I think that he's almost trying to build. I think that he's almost trying to build it to a point where it's oh, it's football, it's so important, and then it all seems irrelevant. He's trying to almost dump it journalism wise. I feel like that. Obviously, you can't tell someone's fucking nature in text. That's why people can't communicate at this point. You can't really tell what they're trying to say a lot of the time. I don't think that Skip is. I think that because he, like I said, if he adds it in later, oh, it's all seems irrelevant now, then I'm on your guys' boat 100%. He's a fucking idiot. But I don't read it the same way that you guys do. That's all I'm saying.
He needs to suffer. He needs to go.
I'll be interested to see
even Stephen A. Smith went through a suspension.
His explanation.
So watch. He's gonna have some sort of excuse. He's gonna use the Twitter 150 character limit. You could use Twitter Blue.
He's gonna address it to start first take.
Yeah, it will be the first thing he talks about tomorrow. He's gonna have to.
He's gonna have to address it. He's gonna have to.
It'll matter a lot to me what he says about that.
All right, back to Fight Night. Dan, what's your question?
I totally forgot my question now.
God damn it.
Yeah, see what you guys did. I was gonna ask him about Triple H. Yeah, I don't remember. It was is his management worse than the water bottle thing? How bad was his hairline towards the end? No, I'm just kidding.
Or here's one for you. Did John Cena make everybody else feel old with that bald spot on his head this Friday? Because it made me feel really old.
Cena. Hey, now we should do that to the back of his head.
I couldn't see it.
But hit it. Hit
I
it.
couldn't see it. I mean, I'm just saying. I couldn't see it, man. I
Hey,
couldn't see it.
Cena is actually kind of hilarious.
He's 38 now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He speaks fucking fluent Mandarin Chinese, by the way. If you want to watch some just weird TV, watch fucking John Cena speak Mandarin.
You know why?
He's actually kind of good at it.
You know why? How he learned that? During COVID, he was stuck over there for a movie.
There you go. So, I mean, like, he was in Trainwreck with Amy Schumer, and he's fucking hilarious. She says it's like making love to an ice sculpture. It's fantastic.
Dan, come up with a question. Damn it! Ruined the segment.
I don't have a. I had one, and then you guys fucking started talking about Skip Bayless, and that's exactly what he wanted us to do.
Yeah.
Now we're on his fucking lizard radar. Good job. No, I've been on his lizard radar for me and Tony have been on his lizard radar for a long time. We actually want him on the show. Best non actual professional wrestler to actually do professional wrestling.
Oh, actually, that's a great question because we were talking, Will, when we did Fight Night last week, we talked
thought of it.
Talked about Rookie of the Year and stuff, and I think we kind of missed one. So, as far as celebrities coming in to professional wrestling, it's usually not done well. You look at guys like Snoop Dogg, and their Shaq. There's several to go on and on and on and on.
Stephen Amell did well.
Stephen Amell did well, but he's gonna be on my list of the few, and there's a reason why. Stephen Amell, Bad Bunny, and one of the guys I think could be talked about for Rookie of the Year, even though I hate him personally, I think he's a trash human being, but that's Logan Paul.
I'm never gonna say that. I ain't never gonna put him in an award to win anything. He's trash.
I agree with you 100%, Will, but we have talked about how he has been a good pro wrestler. Every match he has been really good, and that is because he's put in the work for it. And it's the same with Amell. Amell put in the work. Bad Bunny put in the work.
Well, I think it starts with him just being naturally talented athletes.
And it does. It does.
Paul clearly is.
That does have something to do with it. I would say Amell and Paul have that naturally. Bad Bunny's not known for being an athlete, which it's having the respect for it and going to school and learning from someone who knows. Logan Paul trained with HBK. Bad Bunny trained with Miz. And Amell trained with Cody Rhodes. They all had actual pro wrestlers, good pro wrestlers,
what to do.
Teaching them.
Yeah.
How about, and this is not really on this, it is kind of the same thing, but it's not, like movie portrayal of professional wrestlers. Mickey Rourke. What do you think about Mickey Rourke's performance?
Greatest portrayal
I love
of
Mickey
a pro
Rourke.
wrestler in film ever is Mickey Rourke and the Wrestler. Especially
based on DDP, isn't it?
Lightly.
Yeah.
The thing about that
Kind of looks like him.
Well, the thing about that is the wrestler really focused on a guy who was an indie wrestler his whole life. He never got to the big picture.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah, he wasn't like an actual famous wrestler.
Yeah,
he was doing the dirty work.
And where Diamond Dallas did at 35 become a pro wrestler for WCW, and at 40 won a title for them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
One of the oldest ever, other than Ric Flair. Yeah, Mickey Rourke, especially in the way they put light on indie wrestling and what can happen to those guys. There are guys that have been doing it for 20, 25 years and never gotten a big shot. Or maybe got a shot back in the 90s, 2000s, and had a moment of 15 minutes of fame, and then it was gone.
Right.
I would say, as far as wrestler portrayal in a movie, Mickey did it the best.
I agree.
Now, I will say one of the best wrestling movies of all time is Ready to Rumble.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. How about the wrestling scene of Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Macho Man Randy Savage.
I'm gonna I'm not even going to do that one.
Step into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire is not the best person in the world.
So have you guys seen Jenny's? I think it's called Jenny's Game or something game. It's about the chick who ran the private poker games. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
She basically just ran these big ass poker games, really high dollar, fucking really private poker games. Okay. And there's a guy there who's clearly like kind of famous and has a bunch of money, and he's really fucking good at poker. Like he's the best player. She says it several times. Like he's fucking crazy good. Okay. And that's how he makes his money. He was an actor. That's Tobey Maguire. That is based on Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire is one of the sickest fucking Texas Hold'em players in the world.
He supposedly won over $1 million in one hand. And there's another rumor that a guy that owed him 70 grand, like it was a Wall Street financier, I believe. He beat the shit out of this man for that 70 grand. He's
a savage. He's a fucking savage.
He got that dog in him.
Dog. He fucking dog. He's a dog. You know where you can hear that a lot? That dog is you can hear that Wednesdays on the hardwood 10 nights. Dog.
We only got a little bit left. That's all I really have for fight night tonight. Make sure you catch us. We're back tomorrow. Me, Will, Kill. I think Stacks is actually going to be back next week or this week. So make sure you catch that. We're going to be talking the Rumbles. Oh, God, I can't talk. The road to WrestleMania has officially begun. Rumble season is here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pumped because this is my favorite pay-per-view of the year coming up.
Will has to go fulfill his obligations as a male escort
for the Asian population.
Yes, I put my body on the line.
Never had black dick.
I put my body on the line for all these fine Asian females, baby.
Absolutely.
Like a monkey.
Is it blurred? Is it blurred out when you're actually doing it, Will? Like, is it just blurred out?
We're gonna move into the hardwood and go over these NBA scores.
We're gonna go over one NBA score.
Hey, real quick. I got him up right here. There's a surprise going on with the Hawks. Hawks up on Golden State, 95-94.
Golden State's terrible right now. They don't have staff or anybody.
Jordan
Poole's best player on that team right now.
Got the Trailblazers over the Detroit Pistons, 91-74. You got the Heat over the Clippers, 67-49. Knicks winning 102-83 over the Suns today. And 7 must be hurting. Lakers get a win over the Hornets, 121-115. Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Chicago Bulls in overtime, 145-134. The Indiana Pacers get a win against the Toronto Raptors, 122-114. The Philadelphia 76ers get a win over the Pelicans, 120-111. The Brooklyn Nets still winning. I think it's 12 in a row, 139-103 over the Spurs. The Rockets going down to the Mavericks, 111-106. And finally, the Minnesota Timberwolves get a win over the Denver Nuggets, 124-111.
I get it now, Will. This is why you don't want to talk about it.
Talk about what?
145-131, the Cleveland Cavaliers over the Chicago Bulls.
Bro,
Donovan Mitchell had 71 points.
We saw
71 in a game.
Who gonna guard him?
The
Bulls have no one that can guard him.
He went 22 of 34 from the floor.
Lonzo was out hurt. Lonzo out hurt.
Caught his own intentional missed free throw at the end of the first overtime and threw up a circus shot to send it into a second overtime and ended up having 13 in the second overtime to get to 71 points, the third most in NBA history.
That's what I'm saying. Who from the Bulls is going to guard him? Who?
He had 71, 11 assists, and 8
Who
rebounds.
from the Bulls is going to guard the man? The Bulls have no point guard that can guard him.
So full of storylines, Will, for you to just chew on. Zach LaVine, your not boy, had fucking 26 points. Oh, sorry, it was DeRozan. I'm sorry, I eat my words. He had 26. Levine had 26. Went fucking kind of shitty, actually. You're probably right. It doesn't really prove anything. DeMar DeRozan had 44, but 71 points out of Donovan Mitchell, who I've said on the show several times
is going to guard the man. There's no
top 5 in the NBA.
There's no point guard that can guard him on that Bulls roster.
They let him out of.
Lonzo was hurt. Lonzo ain't coming back this year. That's my opinion. He ain't coming back this year. DeRozan and Zach are not the best defenders. Who's gonna guard him?
DeSunmu.
No.
Who's the worst rookie? I mean, he's a rookie defender. He's terrible. He's clearly a better offensive player than he is. I mean, DeSunmu is clearly a better offensive player. But that's what they tried to do. They tried to stick along. He's long though. He's got like a 6'8" wingspan.
6'6",
they tried to stick him on it, and he has no idea how to guard that fucking professionalism.
Nope.
He is way too young. He is way too young. They probably tried to stick Zach LaVine on him, and Zach LaVine was taking a text message while he was guarding him. Zach LaVine was thinking about his next dunk contest.
That's another reason why I hate LaVine. He's not consistent as a player, and he can't play defense. Caruso Caruso can't do it. He'll try, but he can't.
Josie, don't do it.
I'll save it to the end because there's more development on the DeMar.
I'm just saying.
Situation.
Great.
I can tell what it is already.
Great performance. Great performance for Donovan Mitchell. I'll give him that. But again, who from the Bulls is going to have who's going to consistently guard him? Because he's going to get his, but who's going to consistently guard the man with any type of defensive effort on that squad?
And he had to do it in 2 overtimes too, Will. He broke the franchise scoring record, which I don't know if you guys know who it was held by before. The Cleveland Cavaliers single game scoring record was held by a guy named LeBron James. I've said it on every show.
Yep.
So it was held by LeBron James. But he broke it in 2 overtimes. I don't even know if that actually regulation scoring title still is LeBron James's, just so everybody knows. Because he had 50, I think Donovan had 53, I think, at the end of regulation. He had 58, and then he scored 13 in the second overtime, 71. So they had a lot more minutes. Donovan Mitchell played 50 minutes in the game. So that's more than an actual regulation game. So, that's all I got. What's the, he didn't die, did he?
No, he didn't die.
Okay, good.
So the report is that based on a variety of reports, the NFL did not make the decision to suspend the Bengals-Bills game. Rather, players, captains, and coaches from both teams who had witnessed Bills safety DeMar Hamlin get CPR treatments said they would not continue. So they forced the NFL to cancel it.
Yeah, they basically said we're not going to
play.
And if that's the case, fuck you, Roger Goodell.
And shout out to those players for standing up. And shout out to those players for standing up for themselves. Shout out to the players.
Right. I'm also going to be the voice of reason here and say that we don't know what information anybody had. It's all knee-jerk reaction. If he has, a whole day to make that decision and still tries to play the game, then we can tell him to go fuck himself. But we can't jump to conclusions and just say that they just had all the information on it. Yes, that is their job to do. So he's not very good at his job. Who knew? But
I did.
Exactly. But we can't just jump all over everybody. Suzy Colbert's probably going to get ripped. I don't think the Skip Bayless thing was. I think that might have got misconstrued.
I still need to see that comment because I have not seen the Suzy Colbert comment.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything else on Suzy Colbert, so I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, but I'm right though. But I'm right though. Brooklyn has one. But I'm right though. Brooklyn has won 12 straight.
Brooklyn is the weirdly most dangerous team in the NBA. They're the most dangerous team in the NBA.
Real quick, Dan.
I agree.
You wanted to talk about this last week, and I had to leave because my daughter wouldn't go to bed. Harden possibly coming back to the Rockets.
The Twilight tour. Yeah, nobody's gonna since he's just trying to
And this is my only thing. And I've said this on this show. I do believe not that we're gonna be in the playoffs or anything like that. But I do believe to take this team to the next level, because I think the rookies that they've got, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr.,
sophomores.
Good. I think they could benefit from a veteran like Harden.
You don't talk enough about Jalen Green. I mean, that's the first time I've ever even heard you say Jalen Green on the show.
I know, right?
Jalen Green's a fucking dog.
Yeah, a dog
he is
for
a
you
dog.
right there.
This is why I don't talk about the Rockets a lot, because they still are garbage. They're one of the worst teams in the league. But the highlight of that team is Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. As long as he's healthy.
Harden had 27. Harden had 27 tonight, but
Alfred Sengun, your starting center, is actually a prototype starting center for the NBA right now. He can pass. He's long. He is very good offensively. He shoots threes. Like, you guys have a lot of fucking talent. There's talent there. Kenny Martin Jr. is a good player.
They're just young.
Do you agree with me?
They're in the same spot as Orlando. They're just young.
Yeah. They just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Do you agree with me, Dan? So, as a Twilight Tour, having Harden for a season or two, you don't think he's the vet to do it? They need a vet. They need a veteran.
Think he does anything. I mean,
to come in there and glue that team.
But see, but I just don't think that's him as a dude.
Gordon doesn't want to be there. Gordon said this past week, asked by press, how do you feel that the team has made improved this season? He, without straight face, they haven't. That's it.
I just don't think that
Eric Gordon is a piece of shit and just doesn't care. I
just don't think that Harden's that guy. I just don't.
No, he's not. That's not his.
He hasn't shown it anywhere.
He wants to go back to Houston so he can drink whiskey and
he won't go back to them Houston clubs. That's what it is. He won't go back to them strip clubs. That's what it is.
Best strip clubs he's ever been to were in Houston.
Everybody knows Houston has the best strip clubs.
They do.
Yep. Everybody know that. That's what he wants to do. That's why he wants to come back.
Only second to Vegas, Houston has some great strip clubs.
Yeah,
I think. I really think he's just not that guy, and he hasn't shown it anywhere else either. I mean, he had 27 tonight, but he just doesn't show that leadership quality.
James Harden's got a lot of quit in him.
Yep, a lot of quit.
A lot of quit. What I'm surprised on the Rockets side, with the way how he left the team, refusing to play, forcing the trade, all of that, why would you even
consider taking him back?
Consider bringing him back?
Because I mean, have you seen that beard? I mean,
and he'll get every shot.
The strippers are begging the Rockets to bring him back.
Every shot.
Their money has been cut in half since he left. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
And he'll get every shot on that team. Every shot. He'll have the green light.
It's rumored that James Harden went to the Virgin Islands, and now they're just called the Islands.
And on that note,
no, Jalen Green. The only part about Jalen Green is a fucking terrible shooter.
Yeah,
he reminds me of like a smaller. He's like John Morant, who with like less shooting ability. He's a
slasher though.
He's a great slasher. He's a good guard, but
he's not
a good shooter.
He's a slasher, and he gives you effort on defense.
If his shooting improves, he's going to be up there in the he just athletically. There's not a whole lot of dudes like him. There's a couple. John Morant's one of them that are. By the way, did you guys watch Christmas Day games? Did you see John Morant had the best missed dunk possibly in the fucking history of the NBA? He went up over a dude and literally just tried to throw it in, and he was like parallel with the rim. It was fantastic. I'll have to show the video sometime, but yeah, John Morant's a fucking freak.
John Morant's amazing.
All right,
yeah, he's a freak.
I said when he came out in the draft, he was going to be the best in that draft, and a lot of people laughed at me, but I still think he's going to be the best player in that draft.
I think that he is now for sure. It's still to be seen because I think weirdly, there's not a whole lot of guys with more potential than John Morant, but I think Zion Williamson is one of those guys that has more potential than John Morant, and that's hard to say because John Morant is untapped potential. But Zion could still be better.
Quick,
I think.
Before we go, Skip Bayless on Twitter.
Oh, well, wait.
Real Skip Bayless, and then we can roll on this. And he put this on Twitter. Nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I pray for him and will continue to.
Again,
boy, you want to talk about people lighting him?
Yeah, but Dan, would you say he should have read that tweet and seen that it may not have been?
It's not worded the best.
Yes, he should have reread it.
People at the
he
time
went a little
did.
bit too artsy with it, is what he did. He went a little bit too journalism artsy with it and tried to like make it like a novelist type of paragraph where he was like, oh, this is important and important and important. And it seems irrelevant because he's trying to add relevancy to the health thing by making the rest of it important. And then he drops that at the end as like but it's not important. I think that's what it was. And that's how I read it from the beginning. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. And I think that's what he's trying to say right there. Is that he's trying to like build up the importance of the game, but then go, it's not important though, because this dude almost died. I think that's really what he was trying to say, honestly.
Well, and on that
if
note,
he tweets it afterwards,
And on that note, we're going to call it a night. Thank y'all for joining us tonight on another episode of the Sports Report. Make sure you catch all our shows this week. You got me, Will, 7 Stacks tomorrow, Fight Night. You got Dan and Stacks Wednesday, Hardwood. You got, I don't think we're going to have After Dark this week.
After Dark is on the off-season hiatus.
After Dark off-season hiatus. We'll be back soon. And then, as said earlier, World Super Bowl watch party, February 2nd. We're also, I don't have the video yet, but we're going to be having a Royal Rumble watch party January 28th. Make sure you tune in for that. And then there's talk about one for the national championship. So make sure you keep your eye on the Sports Report Facebook page, Twitch, YouTube for all that information. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Again, we got to say our hearts and thoughts are with Damar and hope that everything is okay. As we find more news, we will be posting it on the Facebook page, so make sure you check it out there.
Don't overreact.
Don't overreact. And then one more time to our boy, Stephen Weaver, we miss you. We love you. Rest in peace, bro. I always wanted to have you on the Sports Report, and I was planning on doing it this year.
I'm actually going to take a piss holding my laptop.
The Weaver
right
rule. The Weaver rule will forever be a thing.
Commercial break.
All right.
We're going to remember him.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night.
Shut up, Erica.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.